Hey there, fellow soil enthusiasts. Welcome back to Soilsage Chronicles, where we dig deep into the wisdom that transforms ordinary gardens into thriving ecosystems. Today, we're diving into something that might seem deceptively simple, but is actually one of the most critical skills in your gardening toolkit: watering. I've been gardening for over 2 decades, and I can tell you that more plants have met their demise from watering mistakes than any pest or disease combined. Whether you're drowning your tomatoes with kindness or leaving your lettuce high and dry, getting the watering game wrong can turn your green paradise into a graveyard of good intentions. But here's the beautiful truth. Once you master these 5 crucial watering techniques, you'll see your garden transform in ways that will absolutely amaze you. Let's start with the foundation of smart watering, the deep and infrequent approach. This isn't just gardening wisdom passed down through generations, it's plant biology at its finest. When you water deeply but less frequently, you're essentially training your plants to develop robust, extensive root systems that can weather dry spells and access nutrients from deeper soil layers. Think about it this way: if you give your plants a light sprinkle every day, their roots become lazy, staying close to the surface where the easy water lives. But when you water deeply and then hold back for a few days, those roots have to work harder, growing deeper and stronger in their quest for moisture. This creates plants that are genuinely resilient, not just dependent on your daily attention. For most garden plants, this means watering thoroughly once or twice a week, rather than a little bit every day. When I say thoroughly, I mean soaking the soil to a depth of 6 to 8 inches. You can test this by pushing a long screwdriver into the soil after watering. It should slide in easily to that depth. If it meets resistance, you need to water longer, not more frequently. The timing of deep watering is crucial too. I've found that early morning watering between 6 and 10 a.m. gives plants the entire day to absorb what they need while allowing excess moisture to evaporate before evening. This reduces the risk of fungal diseases that thrive in cool, moist conditions overnight. Your soil is constantly communicating with you, and learning to interpret its signals is perhaps the most valuable skill you can develop as a gardener. Different soil types hold and release water in dramatically different ways, and understanding your specific soil personality will revolutionize how you approach watering. Clay soils are the marathon runners of the plant world. They hold on to water for dear life but take forever to absorb it initially. If you have clay soil, you'll need to water slowly and deeply, perhaps using a soaker hose or drip irrigation to prevent runoff. The payoff is that you can go longer between watering sessions because clay holds moisture so effectively. Sandy soils are the sprinters. They absorb water quickly but also release it just as fast. If you're gardening in sandy conditions, you'll need to water more frequently, but with smaller amounts each time. The key is finding that sweet spot where you're keeping the root zone consistently moist without overdoing it. Loamy soil, that holy grail of gardening, falls beautifully in between. It absorbs water readily and holds it long enough for plants to access it, but drains well enough to prevent waterlogging. If you're blessed with loamy soil, you can follow more general watering guidelines with confidence. Here's a simple test I teach everyone. Grab a handful of moist soil and squeeze it. If it holds together but crumbles when you poke it, you've got that perfect moisture level. If it's muddy and holds its shape completely, you're overwatering. If it won't hold together at all, it's time to water. This tip might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how many gardeners, even experienced ones, focus their watering efforts on the wrong target. Plants don't drink through their leaves, they absorb water through their roots. When you water the foliage, you're not just wasting water, you're potentially creating conditions for disease while leaving the roots thirsty. Overhead watering, whether from sprinklers or hand watering from above, can lead to a host of problems. Wet leaves are breeding grounds for fungal diseases like powdery mildew, black spot, and blight. Additionally, water droplets on leaves can act like tiny magnifying glasses in bright sunlight, potentially causing leaf burn. Instead, focus your watering efforts at the base of plants, directing water to the soil around the root zone. This is where soaker hoses and drip irrigation systems truly shine. They deliver water slowly and directly to where it's needed most, minimizing waste and maximizing plant health. When hand watering, use a watering wand or hose nozzle that allows you to direct water precisely at the soil level. Water slowly and steadily, allowing the soil to absorb the moisture rather than rushing and causing runoff. If you must water overhead, do it early in the morning so plants have time to dry before evening. The root zone extends roughly as far as the plant's canopy reaches, so make sure you're watering the entire area beneath the foliage, not just the stem area immediately around the plant. This encourages roots to spread outward, creating a more stable and resilient plant. The timing of your watering routine can make the difference between a thriving garden and a struggling one. Early morning watering, typically between 6 and 10 a.m., is hands down the best time to give your plants a drink, and there are several compelling reasons why this timing is so effective. First, morning watering allows plants to absorb moisture when they're naturally primed for uptake. As the sun rises and photosynthesis kicks into gear, plants are actively drawing water and nutrients up through their roots. You're essentially providing fuel right when the engine is revving up for the day's work. Second, morning watering gives plants time to dry before evening temperatures drop. This is crucial for preventing fungal diseases that thrive in cool, moist conditions. When leaves and soil surface have the entire day to dry out, you eliminate the prolonged moisture that many plant pathogens need to establish themselves. Evening watering, while convenient for many gardeners with busy schedules, creates ideal conditions for disease development. Cool, moist conditions overnight are exactly what fungal spores need to germinate and spread. If you absolutely must water in the evening due to scheduling constraints, focus even more intensely on watering only the soil and avoiding any moisture on the foliage. Midday watering is generally wasteful due to high evaporation rates, but it's not harmful to plants despite old myths about burning leaves through water droplets. The real issue with midday watering is efficiency. Much of your water will evaporate before plants can use it, especially on hot, windy days. If there's one practice that will revolutionize your watering routine and transform your garden's health, it's mulching. A good layer of organic mulch acts like a protective blanket for your soil, regulating temperature, retaining moisture, and slowly decomposing to feed your plants. It's honestly the closest thing to magic that exists in gardening. Organic mulches like shredded bark, straw, grass clippings, or compost create a barrier that significantly reduces water evaporation from the soil surface. In my experience, a 3 to 4 inch layer of good mulch can reduce watering needs by up to 50% while improving plant health across the board. But mulch does more than just conserve water. As organic mulches break down, they improve soil structure, add nutrients, and create habitat for beneficial soil organisms. This creates a positive feedback loop where your soil becomes better at holding and releasing water naturally, reducing your dependence on frequent watering even further. The key to effective mulching is keeping the mulch about 2 to 3 inches away from plant stems to prevent pest and disease issues while covering the entire root zone. Apply mulch when the soil is already moist, ideally after a thorough watering or rainfall. This traps that moisture beneath the protective layer where plants can access it gradually. Different mulches work better in different situations. Organic mulches like bark chips and straw are fantastic for vegetable gardens and flower beds, while living mulches like ground cover plants work beautifully in ornamental areas. Even in containers, a layer of mulch can dramatically improve water retention and plant health. Mastering these 5 watering techniques will transform your relationship with your garden and dramatically improve your success rate with everything you grow. Remember, great gardening isn't about following rigid rules. It's about understanding principles and adapting them to your unique situation. I'd love to hear about your own watering discoveries and challenges. Drop a comment below sharing your biggest watering breakthrough or the mistake that taught you the most. Your experiences help all of us grow as gardeners. If this article helped clarify your watering strategy, make sure to subscribe to Soilsage Chronicles for more deep dive gardening wisdom, and share this with any fellow gardeners who might benefit from these insights. Together, we're cultivating not just better gardens, but a deeper understanding of the incredible world beneath our feet. Happy gardening!